Hello, I'm Richard. I'd like to talk about probably the most important concept in living life on this planet, and that is the difference between divine will and free will. First of all, a caveat. For those of you that do not believe in a God or do not believe in something outside yourself, and whose world and paradigm is simply revolving around your 3D senses and what you can see and what you can measure, and if your belief system is that if science can't prove it, it doesn't exist, then this video is not for you. I'm not about to go and justify this. This is a perspective simply for those who wish to receive it. So, let me continue. These concepts are based on the premise that there is a force, a creator, some people call it God, a supreme intelligence, energy that underpins everything in the universe. The evidence for that is vast, should you be open enough to look at it. The issue here is that science cannot prove this, simply because science does not have the technology and instruments to go measure the metaphysical. So let's look at divine will, the cosmic perspective of the two, the differences between them, and what it means to live life either free will or divine will. Now, these two are complete opposites in terms of polarity on the spectrum. So someone, in fact most people, live their lives on 100% free will. Some people could be 20% free will, 80% divine will, or 80% divine will, 20% free will. Or it could be 50-50, or 100 one way, 0 the other way. I choose to live my life on 100% divine will as best I can. And I'll explain why a little later. So let's look at the cosmic perspective on divine will. Here's what it means. D's for destiny, I invoking vision. Destiny invoking vision. So destiny is about what's happening to you, what you are leaving on the planet, in terms of purpose and a much bigger perspective rather than the world our mind creates. Invoking vision means that it is bringing in, it is creating, it is putting pieces into a vision. A vision is what you see in terms of your perspective on what's going on in your life. And it does that intuitively in nature. Intuitively in nature is about your inner nature as well as the environment of the planet. And it's all about E, evolution. And so evolution is where everything is going. And will stands for where your W, wellspring, internally expresses love and light. So divine will is about what's going on in your life, connected intrinsically, intuitively with nature and everything in the universe. It means that you are a child of God. God is in you. God works for you, in you, through you, as a metaphor. Now, looking at the opposite of divine will is free will. Here's my cosmic perspective of free will. It's the focus of reality in your mind on experiences and expression to worldly intentions of love and life. So in this scenario here of free will, you are in the driving seat and having your hands on the steering wheel of your life and wanting to have control of everything that is happening to you. This is where the positive thinking industry, the law of attraction, has harnessed so many followers around the world into its area. Because who, in terms of the average person, doesn't want to be able to manifest all the money in the world, all the relationships they want, and the perfect life that they've ever dreamed of. That's delivering everything to everybody. That's the promise. However, the problem with free will is that it totally discounts what is going on in the universe, and it takes you into your own world of illusion that you're creating and out of the reality of life and evolution. Because in free will, there is no evolution. It's all about the worldly intentions of love and life. So, carnal pleasures and having love in terms of the frames of references in the 3D world, and life looking at life just as a finite time. You're born and you die. And it's all about making the most of what's here during this period in time. The issue is this: no amount of money or wealth in the world will buy you your health in your aging years when the forces of nature catch up to you and you start experiencing the debilitating effects of your body going downhill as a result of age and modern living. So that's the difference between the two. Now, going back to divine will, when you seek to live your life according to divine will, something happens deep inside where your spirit, which has and is an essence of God, becomes a spring inside of love and light. And there's an expression of that when a vision of what you're meant to be doing in your life intuitively in nature connects with everything that's going on in evolution. So that's amazingly powerful when that happens. And it takes life to a whole new level. It takes you beyond all the mundane, everyday trappings of 3D life. One trap in free will is this: in free will, there is not much light. It's all about me. Not what can I do for others, but what can I get for me. So free will is very much insular, looking inside. Free will is all about self-serving. Free will is about taking the position that you can control the universe. That is an illusion. The reality of life is that you don't control the universe, but you actually are part of the movement evolution of everything in the universe. Control is something that is a human construct. Nature does not work on control. Nature works on evolution and the process of build, maintain, destroy, with cycles and patterns repeating itself. So divine will. How do you invoke divine will? How do you live your life according to divine will? First of all, you've got to know what it is. To know what it is, you have to have an experience of the divine. If you don't have an experience of the divine, you will not have a clue what divine will is. And then the other issue is this: knowing divine will requires a connection with the divine. If you don't have a connection with the divine, you cannot know what its will is, what to do. So these are all very powerful questions that will get unpacked in other videos on various segments that touch on these areas. A very important aspect of divine will is trust and surrender. Because until you trust and surrender, you will not know divine will. And so, the question is, do you wish to live your life according to free will and be holding the steering wheel of the vehicle of your life? Or would you rather consider living 100% according to divine will, where you are not holding on to the steering wheel? You just raise your wings and the wind of the Spirit carries you. So, instead of being in a vehicle where you're restricted to driving on roads that are made for you, and having traffic and having things that are dangerous with a vehicle that is used by date, all of a sudden, with divine will, all you do is spread your wings and let the wind of the Spirit carry you. It's a completely different way of functioning and living. And so, divine will, when you know it and you experience it and you have this expressed in your life, it's no turning back and there is no better way to live. I'm Richard.